What's up, everyone? How are we doing today? Just getting some practice in. Is it a Strat? No, this is a Kiesel retro solo, so it's like a Telly style guitar. Very amazing guitar. Love this thing. Most modern Telly, really. The way the cutaway is right here, you can get to the high frets so easily. You can't do this on normal Tellys, or the old ones at least. You're young, but have you ever heard of the Guess Who? I don't know. I don't think so. Great. So he said, great sound. Can you play that arpeggio sequence that sounds classical influenced? It's not the spacey one. I warm up with that one a lot. LOL. I think I could try finding the one you're talking about. So it's this one, right? I think that's the one you're talking about. Let me try that again. At a faster speed, of course. Let me try getting that a little cleaner. Is your guitar scalloped? Not this one, no. I have a different Kiesel that's scalloped. It's a Kiesel headless guitar, headless Delos. That's the only scalloped fretboard guitar I have. How to play with finger effortless like that? Just get good at what you're doing, man. You got to know what you're doing. Think about how long I play guitar and try to practice as much as I did. That'd be my advice. I've been playing for a very long time. That reminds me of an old Atari game. Aha, very cool skill. Thanks. Which one are you talking about? The arpeggio stuff? So what time is it for you guys? It's like 7:34 where I'm at. Hi, I found you on Insta. Oh, very cool, very cool. Very cool. It's like the Cliffs of Dover Lake, sort of. Someone said it's 6:04 a.m. in India. Oh, wow, that's early. And someone said it's 2:30 a.m. and that's late, but also really early at the same time. Very nice. Glad to have you guys. Go play speed blues or pentatonic. It's 13:35 a.m. in the UK. Oh, interesting. What would that be like? I don't know I don't tell the time with those numbers like that. It's usually 12 to 12, and it's AM and PM. What's up, man? Greetings from Vegas. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thanks for joining the live. Your playing is so smooth. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. Is that sweep picking? I'm not sure. Probably. I do a lot of arpeggio stuff and sweep picking. There's probably a small way that it could be figured out as sweeping, but straight up sweeping, I don't know if that's what I was doing. Actually, I think it was string skipping. $13:35 a.m. doesn't make any sense. 13:35 would be 1:35 p.m. for 1:35 a.m. It would be 1:35. Yeah, I don't know. I never knew the clock went to 13 or 14 or whatever. I always just knew it as 12 to 12 a.m. and p.m. Also, dig the playing. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do you not use pinky finger and ring finger together? Yeah, I do that as well. Why you play Neoclassical? Well, someone was requesting it earlier, and it got me in the mood. So I started going Neoclassical mode. And I like it. Why not? What gauge strings are you using? I'm using 8 through 38. That's why I can get these easy bends. I remember your Buckethead videos from years ago. How have you been? I've been good, man. How about you? Thanks for sticking around. I get this comment every time I do a live now. I feel like there's a bunch of people that watch me from the Buckethead days. Crazy, right? I thought they were 8s. Yep. You're so awesome. Thank you. Can we get a little neoclassical 80s shred? Sure, let's try something. Ooh, that was cool. I'm pretty good. Big fan of your work, man. Keep going. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to have you on the live, man, after you've been following me for so long. That's sweet, man. Do you like players who are known for shredding like Hugh Janis? I'm not familiar with him. I'll have to check him out. 10 out of 10. Appreciate it, man. Thanks. That was a cool arpeggio or a neoclassical sequence right here. Let me try that again. You're not supposed to play this way on a telly-style guitar. You're really not, but I do it anyway. I break the rules when it comes to these kind of standards we have for guitar. What has been the most recent experiment of yours with the guitar? Any new styles? I'm just working on a lot of original tunes at the moment, to be honest. That's just the goal here. Trying to get my EP out by the summer. Don't fall for the joke. All right, I won't fall for the joke. I'm not aware of I'm not aware of this joke, so someone said those sweeps are so good. Appreciate you. So you use 9-gauge strings? No, I use 8s. Eights break so easy, though. Not for me, man. I mean, what do they break when you have old strings? By the time, here's my theory. By the time they break, you should probably already change your strings anyway, because they don't break if they're new. I mean, I don't even break them when they're old. It's rare if I do. I don't have that problem. I just have the benefits of amazing vibrato, essentially. You really are good, man. There's a lot of boring shredders out there that are just all technique, but you really put a lot of character into it, I can tell. Well, that's a great compliment, man. Thank you. That's a great compliment, because I mean, yeah, you gotta play with taste for sure. How long have you been playing? I've been playing for about 16 years this August. I played too hard, maybe. No, I don't think so. I mean, I used to pick pretty hard too. I mean, maybe for like rhythm, eights aren't ideal, but for lead, I mean, I don't see how you could even say that they're not great. I mean, look at Alan Holdsworth used them. Yngwie Malmsteen used them. I mean, he still uses them. I know Holdsworth used them throughout his career, and now Paul Gilbert uses them. Billy Gibbons uses them. I think even Tony Iommi used sevens. Will you be releasing more shorts? Will you be releasing some shorts videos? It's trending right now, and I think it'd be a nice way to build hype for your EP in the summer. Yeah, I got a bunch of shorts I need to re-upload from my Instagram. I got to re-upload some shorts from my Instagram or Reels or whatever, because I have like a lot of videos that I just never uploaded here to YouTube. But yeah, I'll get those up soon. Without melody, shredding has no value. I mean, I agree, man. Mindless shredding is never a good sound. You can always tell when guitar players their main goal is to shred rather than play with melody, you know. And vibrato is important too. If you shred and you can't bend strings, that's not ideal either. You gotta always play in tune. You are a genius, dude. Your vibrato's on point. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I've worked on vibrato for a long time. Big fan of that wide vibrato. Yeah, my vibrato is wide at times because of the eights. But I can also just bend into like a two-step bend easy. I can just go. Did you see Holdsworth live? I never had the chance to, unfortunately. I would have loved to, though. I would have loved to see Holdsworth live. That would have been amazing. Would love to be able to play like that. Do you do lessons or have any recommendations for learning? I do one-on-one Skype lessons. If you're interested, I have all the information in the link in the description if you want to do one-on-one Skype lessons or Zoom lessons, whatever you prefer. And I also have a course that has like basically a collection of licks with tabs and slow videos. And that's linked in the description of this live stream as well. So if you want to check out any of that, all the information's in the link in the description. So yeah, there you go. Just so everyone knows, Straten is a fantastic teacher. Consider yourself lucky if you get a chance to study with him one-on-one. Yeah, I appreciate that, Jeff. Hope you're doing well, man. I'll be seeing you next Wednesday. Thanks for joining the live, dude. I saw Eddie live, one of the best times of my life. Man, that's amazing. My dad actually told me he got to see Eddie Van Halen live back in 1977, right when Van Halen 1 came out, when they were promoting that. And apparently they weren't even that famous at the time, so he got to see Eddie really early on. It was amazing to be able to, witness Eddie. You know what I mean? That's a cool Eddie Van Halen style phrase too. You could kind of mix that sort of Mixolydian sound in your pentatonic playing. I learned this from Eddie. Doing that. Really cool sound. You get that Mixolydian pentatonic sound, but also sort of the minor pentatonic sound at the same time. I love that sound a lot. Eights are a fine choice. Besides, the better you get, the more relaxed you become and have a much lighter touch. I know lots of people use eights. I mean, I could never go back to nines, to be honest. I'm just so used to the eights at this point. Just so used to it, and I don't see a point unless you obviously are maybe recording rhythm guitar or something, or get a custom set. You could do that. That would be ideal. You like Alex Lifeson? I never got into Rush too much, but I do remember learning some Rush early on in my guitar playing. Like I learned "The Spirit of the Radio," I think was one of the songs. But I'm not super familiar with them. What amp do you have for gigs? I could use any amp really. I have a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. I have a Fryette Memphis 30 amp. I have a orange Tiny Terror Mastodon head. That would be easy to gig with for sure. Super loud. I also have a Fender Blues Junior. That's like a 15 watt though, so it's probably maybe a bit small, but I think it could do the job probably. What amps do you guys use? I love Fender amps, such warm tone. Yeah, they're great. They're great. Gets that Eric Johnson sound going for sure. Do you think the rise of hip hop and rap has made less people respect guitar driven music or wanted to learn guitar? It's an interesting question. I think it's not really about the genre of music. It's just that guitar maybe has an audience of, it's more associated with rock music, of course, or country music, or I guess classical guitar. It's just not as associated with hip hop music, unless the beat involves guitar, which you do hear. It's just not necessarily 100% associated with that style of music. But do I think it's the cause of people playing guitar or respecting guitar less? I don't think so, no. Music has its moments, and it all goes from one stage to a different stage to a different stage, and kind of history in a way repeats itself. So hip hop has been quite popular for 20, 30 years, and actually maybe even longer than that, since the 90s. Yeah, so around 30 years. But I don't think it's hip hop's fault. No, not at all, actually. It's just that mainstream music doesn't incorporate guitar as much. And whatever genre that could be is essentially, there's not, put it this way, there's no pop that involves really cool crazy guitar playing as much. That's basically it. Popular music. But I think it's making a comeback because guitar actually I feel like is becoming a lot more popular recently in the last couple of years. So that's my opinion. But no, it's not because of hip hop or anything. It's just the instruments being used less in popular music. That's all. What are you drinking? I'm drinking a sparkling water. Sparkling water, my favorite. Who do you think is the most underrated guitarist? I don't know. I really don't know. I got one. Sean Lane. I think I might have said this the other night, but Sean Lane's very underrated. Well, 80s glam was pop, but I get what you're saying. Well, pop is what I mean is like popular music, and more of like anything past the 90s is what I was referring to. One of the most underrated guitarists I know is Brandon Ellis for sure. Oh, for sure. He's underrated as well. He's got great vibrato, great tone, great picking technique. He's definitely underrated for sure. I like his playing a lot. Sean Lane was a beast. R.I.P. Yeah, R.I.P. to Sean Lane, man, for sure. R.I.P. to Sean Lane. He's one of the best. Oh, we got a super chat. We got a super chat from Jeff. Thanks for doing these. Hey, man, I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate you being here, man. Yeah, Jeff's a good guitar player. He's one of my students currently. He's a really good guitar player, so I'm going to do some more playing. But yeah, appreciate the super chat, man. Thanks for supporting the live stream. And yeah, Jeff, he's good. He's a very good guitar player. When I saw his style, I really enjoyed it. He has a very old school rock approach, and it sounds great. Honestly, it's really cool. Underrated for sure, but Sean Lane, he does get his flowers amongst real musicians. Yeah. Oh, wow, we got another super chat in the house from Mr. Sir. Wish I could stick around longer. Have a good night. Hey, I appreciate you, Mr. Sir. I remember you gave some super chat comments last night as well, so appreciate you supporting, man. Well, I'll see you next time if you join the live, man. Appreciate the support as always. So I'll play something real fast before you go. How about we play some melodic minor sounds? There you go, Mr. Sir. Wicked legatos, dude. Thank you. Yeah, legato is something that I was actually working on last night quite a bit. You play acoustic also? Yes, I do. I do play acoustic. But yeah, let's try some legato stuff. This is really cool stuff. Oh, you're hybrid picking that. I do a lot of hybrid picking. I don't know specifically what I was doing, but I can show you something really cool that I hybrid pick actually. And these are arpeggios that are involving sweep picking as well. Check this out. So this is sweep picking and hybrid picking. Have you ever looked into chicken picking? Seems like something you'd be able to pick up quick. I don't do a lot of that now, but I have looked into it and I'm very impressed by the guys who do it. Like, it's very cool stuff. I'm just not a big country player, but if I was a country player, I would probably be using a lot more of that chicken picking stuff, of course. I mean, I definitely would be, but it's just not a current part of my sound too much. But Buckethead does some stuff like that. That it's not really like country style chicken picking, but it's kind of like that sort of sound. Actually, someone was asking me to do that on a live stream yesterday. How are you shredding? It's so cool. I use so that's a really basic way of asking a complicated question, but I'll answer it. Excuse me. I'll answer it for you. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. So I use a combination of alternate picking, economy picking, sweep picking, hybrid picking, legato, and a combination of hybrid picking and sweep picking combined, which is what I was doing a little bit earlier. Very cool stuff, by the way. So that's how I shred, is by using these techniques and combine them all to create the best possible sound. Zach Wilde's ability to incorporate it into metal is a huge reason as to why I even know of it. Oh, interesting. Chicken picking, right? It's cool stuff for sure. Good beginner amp. I mean, just get a good plug-in or something. You could get if you have like a little studio setup, get a Focusrite interface, get some studio monitors, and hook it up with your computer. Get maybe a neural DSP plug-in. You could probably get a decent little setup for a couple $100. And understanding that, or assuming that you have a computer. It sounds the best for the price, in my opinion. Since you mentioned him, do you know any Buckethead jams? I used to play a lot of his stuff a long time ago. Someone said, Boss Katana, MK2 if you're truly beginner. Yeah, that's probably good too. I've tried and heard of the Boss Katana stuff. That's cool. That was cool right there. I like that. Yeah, those are really cool shapes. To achieve that sound, all you need to do is 2 and 2 arpeggios, which means 2 notes on one string and then followed by 1 note and then another 2 notes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really musical sounding arpeggios. That's awesome. Never seen something like that before. Oh, I'm not even sure what I was just doing. Oh yeah, those 2 and 2 ideas. Right. Yeah, that stuff's cool. I like that stuff a lot. Can you play over E minor to E flat? Man, I need to get a looper pedal for these live streams. I'm getting working on improving this setup. So once I have that set up, I can do stuff like that more. But yeah, that's not a hard thing to do. Honestly, you could easily, sound good with that if you just it's too simple almost. Not too simple, but it's an easy way to find the key changes for sure, because it's only a half step, difference. LOL, any tips on how to get better with right hand sweeps? Start with 2 strings and just do this technique. So let's take maybe like a C sharp minor arpeggio. You could just do this. It's all down, down, up as well. Or hyper picking if you want. Then you can work on 3 strings after that. Add an extra string. You can kind of do something like this. And that's 5, of course. But yeah, if you're a beginner, probably should just work on just 2-string arpeggios, of course. Obviously, that's kind of sort of a skill to have, is to be able to play 2-string arpeggios, in my opinion, because they're kind of hard. They're not necessarily easier. The timing can be, tough as well. Could you talk about modes? Explain basics. Here's a good way of understanding modes. We have a scale called the G major scale right here. That contains 7 notes, right? As long as you start on any of these 7 notes, you're going to probably be more likely to have the sound of the mode you're looking for. So, for example, you start on G, you're going to end up having more of a major sort of G Ionian sort of sound. You're going to get this. But if you start on A, you're going to get more of an A Dorian sound. And especially if you end on A, you'll kind of achieve this a little bit better. You kind of do something like this. And the same thing with Phrygian. Same thing with Lydian. Same thing with Mixolydian. And obviously E Aeolian, which is E minor. And then we have F sharp Locrian. And that would be the scale that most people don't like the sound of, because it has more associations with diminished chords and stuff, and it's just not ideal to use in all circumstances. But I was thinking of ways of using it the other day, and I just don't find much use out of that scale. And yeah, that's the way I would approach modes. And then once you get that down, then you got to get into harmonic minor modes, which would be like this, playing basically this all across the entire neck, starting right here in G. Just instead of using what's it called? Instead of using E, you want to do E flat all across the neck and just apply the same exact technique. So this would be 3 notes per string across the whole entire fretboard. That's how you play melodic or harmonic minor modes, and then you're going to want to go for melodic minor modes. So that would be my approach to modes. What artist most inspires you? Great question, great question. I'm a big fan of Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads. Yngwie Malmsteen and yeah, those two probably the most. Bach and Beethoven as well, classical music. That's my favorite thing to listen to and to be inspired by. In the key of G, I avoid that F sharp. I use it just for chromatics. Yep, that's exactly what I would do as well. I mean, I don't avoid it. I just don't like the way it sounds that much. I think to show the way a mode sounds, it's better to play over one tonic, for example, G, Aeolian, G Lydian. Yeah, that's a great way of doing it for sure. I was just trying to explain in detail of all of the modes because there's 7, of course. Wow, so basically if you add a flat note, you turn into Yngwie. Thanks a lot. That's pretty much actually the explanation of it. So if you have an E minor scale, which is E Aeolian, just take that E, play E flat or D sharp, whatever you want to call it, and swap those notes for each other and you get this. Play that over like a major chord. So if you had a B7, that would work great. Have you heard Walter Giardino, the guitarist of Rata Blanca? I can't say I have, but I've heard the name, but I'm not familiar with his work. Why should I be checking him out? Because I'm not super familiar with his stuff, but... And also, if you're new here, would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer to 100,000 subscribers, so give me a subscribe. We'll get closer to that YouTube silver play button that'll be hanging up right behind me. Yeah, it's like Yngwie Malmsteen. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit. Well, if you were referring to what I was playing earlier. I'm back, day 2. Glad to have you. Thanks for joining. Exactly, so beautiful. Nailing modes are the toughest thing for me, at least. You have to have a melodic approach instead of technical approach. Yep, you gotta definitely approach it more melodic instead of technical, or else you'll just sound like someone who just learned how to sweep pick doing this over and over. Which is alright, but I don't necessarily go for that kind of sound. What's your favorite arpeggio? I don't have a favorite arpeggio. I could show you some stuff I like though. I like 7th arpeggios, like dominant 7th, sort of like these kind of. Dominant 7th right now is my favorite. Diminished 7th's cool too. It's only 1 note difference. that kind of sound is really cool. Very easy to incorporate as well because it's only one note different from a standard major arpeggio, but it sounds much different. There's more flavor to it for sure. Do you like this chord progression? For example, E minor to E flat major, the first minor chord, then use 1 fret down major chord. Do I like that? Yes, that would be cool. Kind of has that sort of movie soundtrack sort of sound. So if you like arpeggiated that, it could sound pretty cool. Like. That's a really cool chord progression. I like that. I'm pretty sure I learned some sort of augmented arpeggio hybrid pick from you. It was so cool. That sounds about right. Maybe this one I did. It was like kind of neoclassical as well. Yes. Yep, that's it. That's it. How to improvise with blues. You got to understand the chords. So pick a chord progression. So maybe something that has these kind of. So use those chord progressions, focus on that sort of major pentatonic sound, get that sort of... Just use your ears, let your ears guide you, and just literally repeat those chords and improvise over them. And you probably won't sound very good at first, but over time, if you practice and you use determination, you might get pretty good. So just try, give it a try. Do you like SRV? Yes. Stevie Ray Vaughan's great. I remember learning the song Scuttlebutton a long time ago. Very cool. Very cool song. Kind of hard to play as well. He has a very unique style. Rest in peace to SRV, man. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Shout out to him. Very inspirational. Cheers from Bosnia. Hey, glad to have you. This is really cool. Check this out right here. This is a piece that I've been working on for a while. Whoops, that's a hard one. That's really cool. It's cool because there's ninth arpeggios. These extensions of these arpeggios sound quite different to what you're used to hearing. It's actually quite similar to this one lesson I posted on YouTube a while ago that a lot of people really liked. And it was the 4-string stuff that I was doing this kind of same chord progression, but with these ideas on 4 strings. Quite unique, actually. remembers those? Can you play any animals as leaders? Never learned any, but they're good. I mean, they're very talented for sure. How do you practice? Do you have like tasks prepared for yourself, or like Hendrix, you just jam and let guitar take you places? Very beautiful piece, by the way. So, yeah, I'm more like Hendrix in that way, where I just let it out pretty much and let the guitar guide me, let my ears guide me, essentially. But with that being said, this is through, quite a bit of theory, music theory knowledge, that I am able to do this. If I didn't have as much music theory knowledge, I probably wouldn't be able to do this as fluently and as easily. So I know exactly what I'm doing across the fretboard pretty much at all times. So yeah, that's kind of how I would practice. Just improvise, and if I see an idea, then I immediately start trying to record it, get it written down so I can have that prepared for maybe a song later or something. That's how I would practice. Or just even get my phone out just so I don't forget the idea immediately. You know what I mean? Can you play something in a Locrian? I kind of was doing that a little bit earlier, but it's not my favorite thing to do, of course. I don't find much use in that, but what would you use Locrian in? Unless it's obviously like a specific arpeggio or idea, but how would you use it? Because I don't find very much value in it personally, but it's just not a pleasant sounding mode. It just sounds sort of, I don't know, that F sharp just doesn't, I don't like it too much. It's all right in certain contexts, of course, but it's not something I find myself using very often. So, yeah. Locrian pentatonic actually sounds cool. Interesting. Does it sound better than Mixolydian pentatonic, though? You tell me. Can you play any Racer X? I used to work on a lot of Racer X stuff a long time ago. Stuff's tough to play, but definitely improve your technique. No, as in, does it sound better than Mixolydian pentatonic? I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, Mixolydian pentatonic just sounds so good. Yeah, so this is how the Mixolydian pentatonic differs from the minor pentatonic. So if you have just the standard E minor pentatonic shape. All you have to do is change one note right here. I created a sequence to actually sort of show the difference of these sounds, and actually it was actually really cool because I used a little bit of the Japanese pentatonic scale as well. Very cool. So let me see if I can actually play this. I posted this on Instagram a while back, and a lot of people liked it. Let me see if I can actually pull this off. It's tough. Let me try it slow. See, there you go. That was actually pretty clean. I like the way that turned out. Ridiculously smooth phrasing, Mr. Marshall. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Can you play Crossroads guitar duo? I can play some of it. Japanese pentatonic sounds awesome. Totally agree. One of my favorite sounds. Definitely reminds me of Jason Becker quite a bit when I play that sort of scale. He does something like that in altitudes, right? And it's so easy to play this guitar. I recognize that sound, but don't know it was Japanese pentatonic. We'll learn more about, can you show the difference between minor pentatonic? Yeah, so if you wanted to play that sort of sound, an easy way, if you had this pentatonic position right here, the difference would be something like this. Then that was more Mixolydian as well. Can a harmonic minor scale be used with blues? Yes. If you want to hear an example of that, listen to Still Got the Blues by Gary Moore. There's usage of the harmonic scale or harmonic minor scale towards the end of the chord progression. When you hear that sort of, it's like he plays an E major chord, I think, and he uses the A harmonic minor scale over that. So that's actually a great song too, and also demonstrates that quite well. Do you like active pickups? I've never used active pickups. Everything I've ever owned is passive, and the only active pickups I think I've ever used were like EMGs. So yeah, I've never been a big active pickup fan, but I'm sure they sound good. And there's a lot of maintenance. Don't you have to like put batteries in them? Can you do that same scale with 4 notes per string? Yeah, that would be a little bit not ideal though, because it's a 2 notes per string scale with really wide intervals. I wouldn't really do that. You would have to go. You'd have to actually almost string skip that, because yeah, those intervals are way too wide. It's a big old stretch. Is this still Polychrome DSP? Which is that preset? I think it's the... I think that's the 80s 80s one in the beginning. It's like on the lower gain or something. It's like the one in the beginning. Just the 80s one. I like that one a lot. It's just easy. Sounds good. What are active pickups? They're pickups that require you to have batteries in them, and probably more. I'm not the person to ask because I don't really have much experience with them. I want to study guitar with you. Well, if you want to study guitar with me, you could check out the lesson pack that I have linked in the description. It's got a lot of, licks that I like to use, and tabs and slow videos, and just pretty much a collection of cool licks. Or if you're interested in one-on-one guitar lessons, I have an email that I've provided that you could email if you're interested in taking one-on-one lessons. Solid attempt, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's not happening unless I figure that out. I'd have to go. And yeah, that's not happening right now with the fluidity that I would like it to be. So instead, we could try an E minor arpeggio, a little bit different. That would be 4 notes per string, and it kind of has. Actually, now that I think about it, you could do that like this, right? That's kind of a form of this scale, so yeah, you could do that instead. Rather than use that tough shape, this would actually be a lot easier. And the tap is for the 4 notes per string. That's actually quite nice. You are using plugin. It sounds so good. Yes, I am using a plugin. Sounds great. I use this all the time when I'm just practicing or whatever. It's pretty much all I've been using recently. But I might be getting a Fractal Audio Axe Effect soon, or a FM9, so I'll probably start using that. But this still sounds amazing and probably sounds just as good, to be honest here. You don't have to make it 3 notes per string. You can do it 4 notes per string. You could do it 3 notes per string, which will have that sort of 1-3-5 E minor arpeggio sound. This is a demonstration of that. You could do B major. It's actually quite easy to make that transition happen. Quite difficult, actually. So yeah. Who's tried that technique? That is something I learned from Guthrie Govan, I feel like, a long, long time ago. He would do that. What, doesn't he do that in like a song of his? But he does it in B minor, I think. Wonderful, slippery thing. Yeah, I believe that's the song that he does that in, or something along the lines of that. I'm subscribed. I'm going with something new to learn. Congrats to YouTube algorithm to take me here. Greetings, Marshall. Hey, glad to have you as a subscriber on the channel. Thank you. We're getting closer and closer to that 100,000 subscribers, so appreciate it. There's a lot of videos that you should check out if you want to learn the stuff that I do. Really cool stuff, actually. Just ask everyone in the chat. They'll tell you. I subscribe too. Cool. Thank you, man. Glad to have you. And if anyone else is new here, would appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed these live streams. Thanks for honoring my request of the arpeggio thing earlier. It was actually a different one, but still sounded great. No problem. Which arpeggio were you referring to? No problem, man. No problem. My man, always some late night grooving with you. That's right, that's right. Also subbing, greetings from Georgia. Also, could you talk about mixing the chromatic with pentatonic scales and what's the best way of mixing them in order to not lose the bluesy vibe? Well, appreciate you subscribing. Glad to have you on board. And with that being said, if you want to sound really bluesy, all you got to do is add the blues scale. So when you play minor pentatonic, just add the blue note. That would be this. So yeah, just find ways to incorporate chromatic. Kind of almost doesn't even really matter where you're at on the fretboard. Just sort of do it and end on a cool pentatonic lick, and then it ends up kind of working itself out. That's at least kind of my approach. It also sounds good in these kind of formats as well, like. So check that out. Tutorials, please upload some tutorial about the arpeggios. Man, I have so many tutorials. You got to check out some of them if you're new here. I'm not sure if you're a long-time subscriber or if you're new, but either way, check them out. Hey, you already know I'm a big Buckethead fan. I heard this thing he does, 3 fingers for string shred. Can you explain that if you know what I mean? You mean 3 notes per string. You got to play a scale, and it typically is a 3 notes per string scale, which means each scale has 3 notes on a string, or each string has 3 notes. An easy way to incorporate this into your playing is using the Eddie Van Halen triplets method, which is down, hammer on, up, down, up. And you can achieve that sound by doing it like this in this scale position. This is in B minor, just like a lot of the songs Buckethead plays are in. So this is what it would sound like slow. So slow. That's pretty much the extent of it, actually. A lot of his licks are kind of revolving around this sort of method as well. You could do it on a bunch of other strings as well. Is there a reason? There's a reason for the hammer on. Yes, there is a reason, because if you picked every note, it would sound like this. Which is something I do, but I don't think Buckethead does that. So he just prefers it like that because it's easier, probably less stress on your right hand, and it sounds cool. And it's actually a little bit more rhythmic. You get a more of a that accent on the high E string. You get that sort of. Actually, much easier to play in time with that method rather than the picking every note method. You said B minor? Yes, that's correct. I just know pentatonics, and that's kind of it. Does this has any name, or is it any scale or something? This is the B Aeolian mode, also known as the B natural minor scale. Look into that, and this is the sound you will find if you use this pattern, of course, because this is a pattern that also lends itself to playing this sound. So get really comfortable with the modes of the D major scale. I said D major this time, not G. D. Aeolian? Yes, that is correct. Okay, I'll look it up, and thank you so much as always. No problem, no problem. Let me know if you have any more questions on that topic, because that kind of covers it in a way. Yeah, the B Aeolian scale. If you like Buckethead, that's the scale he uses in a lot of his songs, and pretty much just change the key and you could pretty much sound like Buckethead with whatever key he's playing in. So maybe we're in E Aeolian this time. You get that same sort of sound just in E minor rather than B minor. Very simple stuff, actually. Then flatten that 5, you get the harmonic minor. It sounds cool with the pentatonic, that flat 5. You get that Randy Rhoads sort of sound. Killer playing dude, what is the picking pattern for the EVH triplets? Down, hammer, hammer, up, down, up. That is correct. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's how you're going to achieve that sound. Man, you can really play fast with that one. It's quite easy to play. Did you try the flat wound guitar strings? No, I haven't. Your picking is great. Always working on my picking, man. That's actually really sweet. I like the sound of that. You can do a lot with that. Interesting pattern right there. Interesting pattern. I'm about to get going though in a couple minutes, so if you guys have any last minute questions, I can answer those. I can't imagine the hours of playing are behind your hands. Man, a lot of time for sure. Do you like Andy James? Yeah, he's awesome. Well, with that being said, I'm about to head out. If anyone's interested in taking one-on-one lessons, just check out the email that's linked in the description. And if you want to check out one of my courses, it's more of a collection of some of my favorite licks. That's also linked in the description. So with that being said, play one more lick, and then I'm going to be heading out. I'm going to try this ascending now. There we go. Got it on the first try. So with that being said, I'm going to be heading out now. So I'll be back with some more live streams soon. So I'll catch you next time. All right, everyone. Peace out. Hope you guys have a good night or day wherever you are at. All right, everyone. Peace out. Peace out.